So ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, members of the San Francisco State community and guests, welcome to the opening faculty meeting for 2014-2015 academic year. This annual meeting is one of our few opportunities to spend time together as a body of the whole, to share important information, and to welcome the new members of our community. Many of you will have noticed that there are a number of changes this year. We have many new people and new experiences at San Francisco State, beginning with the launch of our new website over the weekend. If you haven't taken a look, you should go ahead and look through it. I think it looks wonderful. And so over the course of this meeting, we're going to be giving you important information about things that are new and things that are ongoing. We'll hear from Provost Rosser about some of the spectacular achievements of our fellow members of the faculty, including the winners of the 4 Distinguished Faculty Awards. We'll also meet new members of the administration with whom we look forward to working. The deans and associate vice presidents of various units of the university will introduce new faculty, and we will hear from CFA President Sheila Tully and myself, and concluding remarks from President Wong. I'd like to thank a number of people who helped make this meeting possible, especially the staff of the Academic Senate and the President's Chief of Staff, Sean Whalen, and there'll be more thanks later. But at this time, to begin the meeting, I'd like to invite Provost Rosser to the podium for our first item of business.
Thank you, Trevor. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to academic year 2014-15. It's good to see all of you after a summer that seemed a little too short, at least for me. I always have dreams of completing more projects and accomplishing more before the school year begins, and I suspect some of you do too. This afternoon, in a few minutes, it will be my pleasure to introduce the 36 new tenure track faculty who will be joining us this afternoon. Actually, it's the deans who will be doing the introduction, but we are also pleased to have these people here that I want to take my part of them too and give credit. Before these introductions, though, I would like to take a moment to focus on just a few highlights of some of the stellar accomplishments of a few of our faculty colleagues during the last year in the 3 areas that we value so much at San Francisco State: service, teaching, and scholarship. And although I won't be able to mention the many amazing awards and accomplishments with the aid of the deans, I've selected a few to underline for the new faculty, the caliber of the current faculty that they will be joining. First, in the area of service, I would mention Meenu Kumar, Associate Professor in Marketing in the College of Business, was given the rare honor of co-chairing the Product Development Management Association's annual research forum last fall. Assistant Professor Jeanette Lee in Physical Therapy in Health and Social Services was awarded the Jerry F. Walton Service Award from the American Physical Therapy Association. In teaching, Associate Professor Allison Tintianco-Cubalis from Ethnic Studies was the 2014 recipient of the Critical Educators for Social Justice Community Advocacy Award from the American Educational Research Association, or as we know it, AERA. Professor Dorothy Saruta from Ethnic Studies was honored with the Educator of the Year Award by the San Francisco chapter of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. A record 5 current or past San Francisco State students received 3 new 3-year NSF Graduate Research Fellowships in 2014, worth well over $100,000 each. In terms of research, creative activities, and scholarship, College of Health and Social Sciences Professor David Anderson is invited to be a keynote speaker at Agence Nationale de la Recherche in France, for which he also received a €300,000 3-year award. Professor Pamela LaPlage and Associate Professor Susan Curry from the Graduate College of Education had a new book published from Routledge called Teaching Children with High-Level Autism, Evidence from Families. Professor Grace Yu from Ethnic Studies co-authored with Barbara Kim, Caring Across Generations, The Linked Lives of Korean American Families. Professor Sashi Cunningham from Journalism reported about the latest developments in Iraq this summer, shooting video for an upcoming Frontline documentary reported by Martin Simon to air in October. And Professor Johnny Simons from Cinema in LCA has filmed Outrun, a featured documentary about LGBT politicians running openly for elected office in conservative parts of the developing world, has received major grants from Sundance and ITVS. Eric Su, mathematics professor and director of our Center for Science and Mathematics Education, was awarded a $1.5 million California Math Science Partnership Grant to prepare K-8 teachers in San Rafael City schools to teach the Common Core mathematics standards and next generation science standards. And Assistant Professor of Physics and Astronomy Stephen Kane received huge international publicity for his discovery of an Earth-sized planet in the habitable zone of a cool star. His discovery has been incorporated into a new computer game, which I imagine will attract many young people to the study of science. So the accomplishments of our faculty make us all so proud, and let's give those folks a hand. In order to help ensure that the faculty can remain productive, despite these very tight budget times, we will again have the Faculty Travel Awards, and we've increased the pool by $50,000 this year to $200,000. So that's a significant increase over the amount available from last year, although nowhere near what we need to meet the travel requirements that our very active faculty engage. As many of you know, I do enjoy attending the theater, musical events, and other arts and entertainment that are available in the Bay Area. This summer, I went to the Melissa Etheridge concert with the San Francisco Symphony, which was spectacular. As you know, one of her many famous songs is I Run for Life, which she wrote in the wake of her bout with breast cancer. As I thought about that, and as I thought about my remarks for today, I thought about how we are also in a run for our lives in public higher education, particularly here in the state of California. And as we seek to deliver a quality education to our students in the face of shrinking public funding and support. I want to give my thanks to all of you for joining us in this run at San Francisco State in these difficult times. I'm now happy and honored to present the Distinguished Faculty Awards. On behalf of the Faculty Honors and Awards Committee, that this year included Professor Michael Anderson from Classics, Dean Sasha Bunge from Faculty Affairs, Dean Kenneth Montero from College of Ethnic Studies, Professor Eric Rosegard from Recreation, Parks, and Tourism, and Professor Barry Rothman in Biology. It's an honor to present the recipients of the 2013-14 Distinguished Faculty Awards for Excellence in Teaching, for tenured tenure-track faculty, Excellence in Teaching for lecturer faculty, Excellence in Service, and Excellence in Professional Achievement. First, Excellence in Teaching Award for tenured tenure-track faculty, Professor Sophie Clavier in International Relations. Please come forward. Deeply reflective of the university mission and goals of promoting excellence in instruction and intellectual accomplishment through curricula that reflect all dimensions of human diversity and that encourage critical thinking and social and cultural awareness, the Excellence in Teaching Award has been a time-honored tradition for recognizing pedagogical excellence that ensures student success at San Francisco State University. Professor Sophie Clavier embodies this pedagogical excellence. Nominated by her colleague, Professor Lucia Vogt of International Relations, Professor Clavier's 18 years of teaching experience at San Francisco State have led to the cultivation of a commitment to student achievement, of which her 1.2 overall teaching average merely touches the surface. For those of you unfamiliar, we have a 1 to 5 scale. 1 is good. So that's a very good rating. Since starting as lecturer in 1996 and teaching full course loads in fall, spring, and summer since 2004, Professor Clavier has cultivated a Socratic student-centered approach to achievement that allows for variation in learning abilities and styles and allows each learner to travel on their own path towards the Model United Nations, UN Young Profession Program, Model Arab League, international law, and world affairs. The graceful impacts of the open-minded teaching environment that Professor Clavier creates for her students are best summed up in the following student quotes. "Lecturing was done in a way that kept me both interested and actively taking notes. Even though the class was early, I was always motivated to come to class." Pretty good. "I loved her interaction with the class. She kept us engaged and made us laugh. She was extremely flexible and wanted everyone to succeed. She is determined to help. She is awesome." That one's it. Please join me in recognizing Professor Sophie Clavier as the 2013-14 Excellence in Teaching Award recipient for tenured tenure-track faculty. I understand the plaques have been given. I'm up here saying, where's the plaque? I remembered suddenly that I'm supposed to give her a plaque. Apparently they've been given. Okay.
It must be on Campus Solutions.
Yeah, probably on Campus Solutions. You're right. We're looking for it out there in the ether. It too will appear. Thank you very much, Sophie. Excellence in Teaching Award lecturer, Professor Margaret Lynch in psychology. Margaret? I have been at SFSU since 2002 and have witnessed all of the distinguished faculty awards given out since their inception. I feel sincerely and strongly that Margaret Lynch's service to this university in terms of teaching effectiveness, promotion of innovative and improved methods and curriculum, and especially her passion and dedication to her students, to teaching, and to San Francisco State merits the highest recognition. When Professor Jeff Cookston, chair of the Department of Psychology, wrote this nomination, his goal was to describe the commitment of a teacher that has not only left her mark on thousands of students who have come through her classes and who have received her guidance and mentoring, but also routinely been involved in professional activities that are related to teaching and the promotion of student well-being, such as faculty advisor for the Disabled Student Organization, faculty sponsor for student research, thesis committee reader in the Developmental and Social Psychology Master's concentration since 1996, and devoted promoter of multicultural curricula based on community service learning. Over her 40-year involvement with San Francisco State, Professor Margaret Lynch has indefatigably represented, in the words of our university mission, excellence in instruction and intellectual accomplishment. Having gone from an SF State undergraduate and graduate student of psychology to a doctorate-holding professor, enrolling 700 students per semester in her Psychology 200 general psychology course, and 75 students per semester in her community service learning course, Dr. Lynch continues to illuminate the essential nature of lecturer contributions to the university and the magnitude of their contributions, with having taught 32 different courses, over 160 sections, and consistent teaching evaluation scores between 1.25 and 1.87. Such pedagogical contributions not only embody the rationale for the creation of this award by the Academic Senate, but remind us of how we as faculty must continue to acknowledge the accomplishments of our peers. Please join me in recognizing Professor Margaret Lynch as the first Excellence in Teaching Award recipient for lecturer faculty. Congratulations. Excellence in Service Award, Professor Mary Beth Love from Health Education in the College of Health and Social Sciences. Okay. Dr. Love has been a longtime member of the San Francisco State community with over 20 years of service to her department, the university, and the Bay Area community. Her work and dedication truly exemplify the university's mission. Dr. Mary Beth Love has a personal commitment to higher education and teaching, and many of her service efforts have left a legacy of innovative and socially relevant curriculum for public health in the Bay Area, with a focus towards equity and social justice. She truly has and continues to make a difference here at San Francisco State and in the community. What seems to have earned San Francisco State University renown for its commitment to community and civic engagement is that we encourage faculty through our mission, in practice, and sometimes collegial assertion to engage in service that challenges stale paradigms, which are inconsistent with changes in campus and the larger San Francisco communities. In the aforementioned quote by nominating Professors Holtzman and Elias, they remind us that the service of Professor Mary Beth Love enables such paradigm shifts to occur. Central to the criteria of the Excellence in Service Award is the demonstration of leadership and distinction in service to campus and community. Professor Mary Beth Love continues this demonstration. With a career spanning 24 years, Professor Love has, in short, served the campus as a dedicated faculty member, steward of a curriculum that emphasizes civic engagement and practice-based education, department chair, co-founder of the Master of Public Health program, co-executive of the nationally recognized Metro Academies initiative to improve college learning and graduation for low-income, first-generation, and underrepresented students. Are you tired yet? Which will scale up in the future to serve 25% of all incoming first-time freshmen at San Francisco State University. The reach of her campus service can be clearly seen in the larger San Francisco community. Dr. Love has worked diligently to assess Asian, Latino, and African American health leaders in San Francisco, co-founded with the City College of San Francisco, the Community Health Workers Certificate Program, the Drug and Alcohol Certificate Program, and Healthcare Interpreter Certificate Program. Her dedication to civic and community engagement has transcended the boundaries of academic theory and continues to illuminate how theory in practice can be made reality. Please join me in recognizing Professor Mary Beth Love as the 2013-14 Excellence in Service Award recipient. Congratulations. Excellence in Professional Development Award, Professor Ramesh Bolapragada, Decision Sciences from the College of Business. He's in India. Okay, I will read this anyway, and we will celebrate him in absentia. To position their businesses competitively, maybe his dean could come and stand here and to represent her faculty. To position their businesses competitively, firms must fill customers' orders quickly, reliably, and economically, despite forecast inaccuracies in order quantities and timing and supply shortfalls. To compete in a global market economy, companies are thus faced with the challenge of reducing lead times, increasing delivery performance, reducing costs, and accounting for flexibility at their strategic, tactical, and operational levels. For Professor Ramesh Bolapragada, current theory requires the invention of new quantitative models needed in different classes of industries. For example, supply chain networks, service and manufacturing industries, telecommunication industry, transportation industry. In the aforementioned quote, he reminds us that sustained records of publication and conference presentations must have real-world meaning that translates into sound pedagogical and research philosophy within one's discipline. Since joining the faculty in 2002, Professor Bolapragada has published over 16 research journal articles, presented 20 papers at international conferences, reviewed over 20 research articles for international journals, been selected twice as the Research Professor of the Year in the College of Business, mentored 10 out of 25 MBA thesis projects for publication, and visited 25 countries, including one today, several of which use his models as the foundation for attempts at solving their metropolitan transportation problems. I'm more sympathetic to his being away since I know he's doing his research. The reach and impact of his research is not just felt abroad, but also central in the transportation and public policy concerns of San Francisco and the larger Bay Area. Professor Bolapragada's research has enabled him to address the need for improved fast-track usage, offer simulation models to affect the public policy decisions related to relieving traffic congestion in the San Francisco and Bay Area, something to which we can all relate. So please join me in recognizing Professor Ramesh Bolapragada and his dean, standing in for him, as the 2013-14 Excellence in Professional Development Award recipient. Please give him my congratulations. Thank you. And now it is my pleasure to call to the podium Dr. Les Wong, the 13th president of San Francisco State University.
Thank you, Provost Rosser. It really is a special honor for me to introduce Dr. Lolo Hong, who has joined us this past May 1st as the new Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment Management. She comes to us after terrific careers at the University of Hawaii Hilo, Arizona State, and the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And she has turned everyone's world into a level of excitement and energy that is really, really welcomed by so many professionals on campus. And so I'll let her kind of share with you that energy and as she introduces new members of her staff. So welcome, Lolo.
Thank you very much, President Wong, and good afternoon. We have one individual to introduce from the Student Affairs and Enrollment Management Executive Team. I don't know how to do this. This is my first time, so does the person stand in the audience? How does this work? Okay, I can't see, so, okay, so it's new to me, sorry. Okay, so Dr. Marianne Begley, who I'm trusting is in the audience and will now stand up so that you can all meet her, joined SF State in July of 2010 as the Director of Residential Life. She was then subsequently concurrently appointed to serve as Associate Dean of Students in August 2012. The reason why she's being introduced this afternoon as a new member of our executive team is because shortly after my arrival on May 1st, she agreed very graciously to serve as Interim Dean of Students at that time with the departure of Joey Greenwell. So we're delighted that she was willing to step up and serve in that capacity. A little bit about Dean Begley. She earned her doctorate, her PhD in higher education from Bowling Green State University, which has a strong tradition of growing and developing higher education professionals in student affairs. Prior to that, she received both her bachelor's degree in French and secondary education from Eastern Kentucky University, where she also received her master's degree in student personnel services. She has a distinguished career in student affairs at all three institutions where she has been, which really does prepare her well to be our Dean of Students here. She has taught in the classroom, has presented nationally at both her Professional Association for Student Affairs Professionals in the U.S. and also the National Housing Professionals Association. Currently here on campus, she is a member of the SF State Strategic Planning Coordinating Committee and is a faculty staff advisor for one of our student organizations, Alpha Sigma Fraternity. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Begley to our team. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I hope everybody is having a good day. I'm looking forward and excited to this upcoming year. One thing about upon arriving here, I had the opportunity to meet with many faculty members who really stress the importance of human resources to our campus. And I'm really thrilled to have Miss Ann Sherman. Can we stand up? All right. So I think the university, Miss Ann Sherman has been appointed the Associate Vice President for Human Resources at San Francisco State since April of 2014, and we're very fortunate to have her. Since April, Ms. Sherman has been a vital resource to the camp and has taken the lead on many issues within the campus already. Previous to coming to San Francisco State University, Ms. Sherman was the Director of Human Resources at Northern Michigan University, where she served for 7 years. And prior to that, she served several years in the private sector. She has a degree in psychology from the University of Michigan at Dearborn and conducted her graduate work in industrial organizational psychology at Wayne State University in Detroit. She has a strong connection between her personal values and the mission of higher education. Her parents were both educators, a mathematician and elementary school teacher, and I can tell you she must have taken some of those mathematician skills with her because she's one of the most analytical persons I have met. Sherman, I'm thrilled to have her in our administrative cabinet. She's a definite asset to all of us, and let's please welcome Ms. Ann Sherman.
Good afternoon, faculty, staff colleagues, President Wong, Chair Getz, thank you. I have the privilege this afternoon of acknowledging and introducing two new colleagues to university advancement. But let me mention, for those of you that may not be familiar with advancement, let me share that the work that we do on this campus is that we're a service organization. My colleagues, we serve the president, the provost, the deans, the colleges, the faculty, and the students. And we do that in 3 ways. 1, we focus on marketing and communication in terms of the strength of this university and the strength of our faculty. We engage constituents, build relationships with alumni, parents, corporate, and other special friends. And if we do the first 2 items well, then it results in philanthropic investment back into the university to support the good work of our faculty, our deans, and in support of our students. This afternoon, I'm delighted to introduce 2 colleagues, and let me just share with you that last year, with the President's support, we engaged in 2 national searches. It took 9 months to go through this process, and I'm delighted that it resulted in bringing 2 outstanding colleagues in advancement to San Francisco State University. I'd like to first share with you about our Associate Vice President for Development, Ann Harris. Ann has been part of the CSU system for almost 20 years. Ann, thank you. If you would remain standing for just a moment, because there's more. She's a proud CSU alumna and received her master's degree in business administration and communications from CSU Stanislaus. She also worked in the development office within the system for the last 17 years. She also served as a director of campaign at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and most recently was the Associate Vice President for Development and the interim vice president for advancement at Cal State East Bay. Ann joined San Francisco State late last September, as our associate vice president. She is leading the development team as we prepare to launch the university's first ever comprehensive fundraising campaign in January of next year. Ann, welcome. A second search that's also very critical to the university's initiatives and plans, and certainly one of the president's priorities for all of us, is to re-energize our Gator athletics program. We did a national search, and we're delighted that Mr. Charles Guthrie joined our campus on July 1st. Charles, would you stand, please? Charles will lead our NCAA Division II athletics program. He has more than 250 student athletes that are part of our athletics program, competing in 12 programs. Charles joins us from Clark College in Vancouver, but he has also held senior positions in athletics and in advancement, both at Cal State Los Angeles, CSU San Marcos, and University of California, San Diego. Charles earned his master's degree in educational administration and policy studies from the University of Albany and his bachelor's degree from Syracuse University. Welcome, Charles Guthrie, our AD. You'll be hearing more from Charles in a few minutes. Thank you.
It's now my pleasure to welcome 4 new deans to San Francisco State University, 3 college deans, and a new dean of undergraduate studies. First, Alvin Alvarez. Please stand up. Alvin Alvarez is currently the new interim dean of the College of Health and Social Sciences and professor of counseling. Before San Francisco State, he was the Director of Outreach and Consultation in Counseling and Psychological Services at the University of Pennsylvania. He completed his undergraduate work at the University of California at Irvine in Biological Sciences and Psychology, and his PhD in Counseling Psychology from the University of Maryland. His professional interests and research focuses on Asian Americans, racial identity, and the psychological impact of racism. His scholarship has been supported by the National Institute of Mental Health and has been recognized by his receipt of the Janet E. Helms Award for Mentoring and Scholarship, the Asian Pacific American Network Research Award from the American College Personnel Association, and the Best Paper for 2011 from the Asian American Journal of Psychology. Alvin, welcome. It's nice to see as people transition from one role, in his case, department chair, to an associate dean, to being interim dean. Another person who's doing a transition at San Francisco State is Daniel Bernardi. Please stand up, Daniel. He is currently the new interim dean of the College of Liberal and Creative Arts, where he was former the chair and a professor in the Department of Cinema. Daniel is a critical race and whiteness studies scholar and documentary filmmaker. He has published 7 books, numerous articles, and has generated large and small federal grants. A veteran of the Iraq War and other deployments with the U.S. Navy Reserve, he is now turning his attention to his war culture book series with Rutgers University Press and making documentaries on the veteran condition. He earned his PhD in critical studies from the School of Theater, Film, and Television at UCLA, and he has received fellowships from the Ford Foundation, the UC President's Office, and the Fulbright Foundation. Welcome to this new role, Daniel. And then an individual who is new entirely to San Francisco State University, Dean Judith Hope Munter. Dr. Judith Hope Munter served as Associate Dean for the College of Education at the University of Texas, El Paso for the past 10 years before coming to San Francisco State as Dean of the Graduate College of Education. During those 10 years, Dr. Munter helped to establish strong, genuine partnerships with all school districts in the region, thereby contributing to an essential component of UTEP's mission, providing a consistent level of excellence by recognizing the essential continuity and coherence of the PK through 20 continuum. Additionally, Dr. Munter has extensive international teaching experiences in her professional career, including being a Fulbright Border Scholar in Chihuahua, Mexico, providing leadership as director of a USAID-funded TIES project with Tech Monterrey and with the Universidad Autónoma de Ciudad Juárez from 2007 to 2012, and the development of a formal institutional partnership with the Universidad Autónoma de Yucatán. Dr. Munter has published chapters in edited volumes, articles in professional journals, and received over $9 million in grants. She received her bachelor's degree in elementary education and public health from the University of Wisconsin, her master's degree in TESOL from Florida International University, and a PhD in educational policy and foundation studies from Florida State University. Welcome to San Francisco State and the Bay Area, Judith. And finally, it is my pleasure to introduce our new Dean of Undergraduate Studies, and I think I see you sitting out there in the audience. Please stand up and remain standing. Dr. Jennifer Summit. Is the new Dean of Undergraduate Studies. She comes to San Francisco State after 19 years of teaching and administrative work at Stanford University, where she earned tenure and promotion to full professor and chaired the Department of English. Among her university-wide administrative roles, she was Director of Integrative Learning through the Office of the Vice Provost of Undergraduate Education, and she was part of a small task force that rewrote Stanford's general education requirements. You know how much fun and how easy that is, including the university-wide writing requirement. She also chaired the university's committee for the review of the undergraduate major. Jennifer holds an MA and PhD in English from Johns Hopkins University. Her scholarly field is medieval and early modern literature, in which she is the author of 2 books published by the University of Chicago Press, with a third on the way, and numerous articles. She has been the recipient of full-year fellowships from the National Endowment for the Humanities and the American Council of Learned Societies. And at Stanford, she was a University Humanities Fellow, Dean's Teaching Award honoree, and the Eleanor Loring Rich University Fellow of Undergraduate Education. Welcome to San Francisco State. We're pleased you've moved north. Thank you.
From our new partners in the administration to our new faculty colleagues, I find this a very exciting part of the program today. I'm going to remind our new faculty colleagues that when you stand up to be introduced, don't face the stage, face your colleagues. So look back across the audience so people can meet you. And we're going to proceed by unit in alphabetical order, and therefore we will start with Athletic Director Charles Guthrie. Coach.
Thank you. Thanks, Trev. Before I introduce the coaches, I just want to touch on what VP Nava said. We participated in the NCAA Division II bracket, and it's important to know that 99.9% of our student athletes probably won't play professional sports. They're going to need to get a degree, and then they're going to need to compete for jobs. And that being said, we have 3 faculty members that I'd like to introduce who are also coaches. The first being Matt Barnes, men's soccer. Matt came to us from Lubbock, Texas, and he's not new to the CSU system. He coached at Bakersfield for a little bit, and he also coached at Emory-Riddle. So he has a great background. He'll do a great job for us, and he'll make sure our student athletes are making progress towards degree in the classroom. Our second coach is Dennis Cox, and he came to us from Clayton State University in Georgia. And Dennis Cox is probably one of the, and Dennis, you stand and look at Dennis right there. All right. And I'm gonna zip through fast because if you want more information on our coaches, being the athletic director, visit us online at sfstate.com or #MakeItHappen. So Dennis Cox came to us from Clayton State, and a good fact about Dennis, his women's basketball teams led the athletic department in academic success rates over the 10 years he was there. So we're really excited to welcome him to the Gator Nation, and he's going to do an outstanding job of teaching our student athletes, but also preparing them for life after basketball. Mr. Dennis Cox. Our last coach today, Kendra Reamer. Is Kendra here? Okay, Kendra's not here. She's en route coming from Los Angeles. And Kendra has a great background as well. Spent a great deal of time at high-end institutions. She's come to us from Claremont Mudd down in Los Angeles, and Claremont Mudd McKenna. That's the correct term, right? And she was the head women's, men's track and field coach and won 3 straight conference titles, and also spent some time at Brown University and received her terminal degree at Texas A&M in College Station. And she also tried out for the Olympics. So we have great coaching staff, which are also faculty, and they're going to do a good job not only in competition, but also in the classroom and producing students. Thanks.
Thank you, Charles. Please join me in welcoming the new faculty from the College of Business, and if each of you will stand as I introduce you and face your colleagues. James Bryan Adai. James joins the Hospitality and Tourism Management Department from Texas Tech University in Lubbock, Texas, where he was a visiting assistant professor. Brian graduated from Texas Tech with a PhD in Hospitality Administration in May 2013. He also holds a master's degree in Restaurant, Hotel, and Institutional Management from Texas Tech and a Bachelor of Business Administration from Eastern New Mexico University. His research interests focus mainly on eco-sustainability issues, the influences of social media, marketing media, and consumer behavior and purchase motivations, and sales channels related to hospitality, tourism, and sports tourism. His work has been published in the Journal of Tourism, Hospitality and Culinary Arts, and the Journal of Hospitality and Tourism Technology. Sina Damanger, and I'm sorry, Sina, if I messed up your last name, is joining us as an assistant professor in the marketing department. Prior to joining San Francisco State, he received his PhD at the University of Houston and his MBA and BS in mechanical engineering from Sharif University of Technology. With a strong background in mathematics and computing, Sina is interested in utilizing big data sources to examine marketing theory and practice in different contexts. His research has appeared in the Journal of Marketing Research and is under review at the Journal of Marketing. He is passionate about bringing his experience to the classroom, giving students the opportunity to work with real-world data and statistical methods in courses such as marketing research and marketing analytics. Welcome. Katie Hetherington, I don't think I saw her, received her Juris Doctor from the University of Washington. Hi, Katie, sorry about that. You're supposed to sit up front. Katie Hetherington received her Juris Doctor from the University of Washington in 2005, an LLM in taxation from the University of Florida in 2008. She was an assistant professor at Robert Morris University, where she was responsible for revamping the Master of Science in Taxation program. She was also twice nominated for a Distinguished Teacher of the Year award. In addition to having published 3 peer-reviewed articles in journals such as Practical Tax Strategies and the Journal of Accounting Education, Dr. Hetherington has also practiced law. Her primary teaching area is taxation, and she'll be joining the accounting department as an assistant professor. Welcome. Na Ho Dak, I'm not sure if I saw, oh, there you are, you guys sitting in the back. Joins the marketing department as an assistant professor. He earned a PhD in marketing from the University of Utah, an MBA in international business management from the Asian Institute of Technology, and a BS in civil engineering from Vietnam National University. His current research interests include internet marketing, social media, and the open source movement. Professor Ho Doc has published in the Journal of Marketing, and this research, which examined online customer reviews and brand equity, was chosen as a feature article by the Marketing Science Institute. Welcome. Monica Sharif is an assistant professor in the management department. Dr. Sharif earned her PhD in management from the University of Miami School of Business Administration. She received a bachelor's degree in psychology and social behavior from the University of California, Irvine. Dr. Sharif's primary research interests are in leadership, cross-cultural diversity, and ethics. Her work has recently been published in the Journal of Business Ethics and the Leadership Quarterly. Professor Sharif has taught courses on organizational behavior and human resources and will teach leadership at the undergraduate level this fall. Welcome. Dr. Samita Trivedi. Dr. Trivedi has joined us as Assistant Professor of Business and Society Sustainable Business in the Management Department. She received her undergraduate degree from Duke University in Public Policy, a master's degree in Administration, Planning, and Social Policy from Harvard, and in 2014 completed her PhD in Strategic Management and Public Policy at the George Washington University School of Business. During her doctoral studies, Samita worked on urban policy at the White House Domestic Policy Council. She was also the graduate teaching assistant for a special class taught at George Washington by Dr. Ben Bernanke, the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Samita's dissertation research was a mixed method social network analysis of women entrepreneurs in the context of extreme and moderate poverty in India. Welcome, Samita. And finally, Sybil Yang is returning to her roots in the Bay Area as she completed her undergraduate studies at UC Berkeley, majoring in business administration, accounting, and finance. Sybil then pursued a master's in hospitality management at the Hotel School and an MBA at the Johnson Graduate School of Management at Cornell University. She completed her studies in Cornell with a PhD in consumer studies. Uniquely, Sybil is not just an academic, but also very much a hands-on hospitality practitioner. Having been instructor at Culinary Institute of America, their main campus in Hyde Park, and she's an artisanal baker. Her research interests focus on the use of information technology, specifically eye-tracking equipment, on consumer psychology and decision-making, and her dissertation research has recently been published in the Journal of Marketing Research, the #1 marketing journal and an A+ journal, so congratulations to Sybil. I would now like to introduce the new Dean of the Graduate College of Education, Judith Munter.
Thank you, Dean Aubrey. Well, it's my pleasure to introduce Yvonne Bouie. Yvonne Bouie is the first of our new professors in the Graduate College of Education. Dr. Bouie comes to San Francisco State with years of experience in teaching, research, service, and administration. She's coming to us from the University of San Francisco. At that institution, Dr. Bouie served as chair of USF's General Education Program, the Department of Learning and Instruction, and as program director of that institution's EDD program. Dr. Bouie holds degrees from UC Berkeley, San Francisco State, and the University of Kansas, where she earned a PhD in special education. Over the past 10 years, Dr. Bouie has been awarded nearly $2 million in grants that serve students, schools, and the educational community. Furthermore, she has a strong and impressive record of peer-reviewed research, including books and journal articles in high-quality academic journals. An accomplished teacher, scholar, and leader, we are delighted to welcome Dr. Yvonne Bouie to the Graduate College of Education as full professor and as new department chair of the Department of Special Education and Communicative Disorders. Welcome, Ivan. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Nancy Tseng. Dr. Tseng will be joining us as a new assistant professor in the Department of Elementary Education in the Graduate College of Education. Dr. Tseng was awarded a PhD degree in Curriculum and Instruction, Mathematics Education Focus at the University of Maryland, College Park in spring 2014. Dr. Tseng's research blends critical areas of expertise, mathematics, Common Core standards, and pedagogy, with a very special focus on culture, caring, and elementary teacher practice. Her extensive experience blending research and practice will fit quite well with San Francisco State's values and vision. Truly a researcher practitioner with a commitment to social justice, Dr. Tseng brings valuable expertise from the field of practice, including knowledge of best practices in videotaping classrooms, developing education and evaluation procedures and rubrics to assess and support teachers, as well as grant writing to improve teacher quality. Welcome, Dr. Nancy Tseng, to the Graduate College of Education. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Ken Montero, Dean of the College of Ethnic Studies.
Good afternoon, colleagues. The College of Ethnic Studies has the pleasure of introducing one faculty member. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Kristen Sasaki. Is she standing? Yes, there you are. As she joins her colleagues in the College of Ethnic Studies, the only such in the country, she joins the largest collection of ethnic studies scholars teaching the largest number of students in the nation, 6,000 per semester, and who also represent the broadest range of disciplinary and interdisciplinary approaches in ethnic studies at one institution. She comes in as an assistant professor in the Department of Asian American Studies. Dr. Sasaki earned her bachelor's degree at Claremont McKenna, master's at UCLA, and earned her PhD in history at UCLA. We recruited Dr. Sasaki from her previous position as assistant professor of history at the University of Hawaii at West Oahu. We seem to be taking several people from Hawaii, and their loss is greatly our gain. She will contribute generally to our strengths in Pan-Asian American history, but particularly in Japanese American history, Pacific World, and American Empire, and also included history of Hawaii. She's published a number of refereed and unjuried articles in this area. I want to particularly point out she's preparing a book manuscript, Pacific Confluence, Negotiating the Nation in 19th Century Hawaii, for the University of Hawaii Press. In addition to these core intellectual pursuits, she and a number of her colleagues, including me, share a very important co-curricular interest that's really central to San Francisco Bay Area. She enjoys understanding people through the wonderful foods we create and we eat. I think we should not only assume that we'll meet her at the cafes and bistros, but maybe a comparative culinary history about food and community building. More seriously, please let's welcome her to our community and our home. I have the pleasure of introducing Interim Dean of the College of Health and Social Sciences, excuse me. I am so sorry. It's the first time I've introduced Dr. Alvin Alvarez.
Good afternoon. Oh, come on. Work with me here. As Ken alluded to, my college has been in the process of a reorganization, both in name but as well as mission. And one of the key pieces about the mission and the key phrase in our mission is that our college strives to prepare students to solve some of the most pressing and enduring problems that confront the well-beings of individuals, families, and communities. So this is a college that is action-oriented and out there to make lives better. And to help us do that, I'd like you to join me in welcoming 6 new faculty for our college. The first one, who is already out there doing good, couldn't join us today because he's actually in the middle of a class, which is what we're all about. So let me introduce to you, on his behalf, George Barganier, who is an assistant professor in criminal justice in the School of Public Affairs and Civic Engagement. George joins us from the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee, where he was an assistant professor in the Department of Africology. He received his PhD from UC Berkeley from the Department of Ethnic Studies, so for him, this is a homecoming. And his current work examines the ways in which political activism, state actions, and economic conditions have shaped Black consciousness among Black male gang members in Los Angeles. So in his absence, could we please join me in welcoming George to our community? Next up, in the Department of Sociology and Sexuality Studies, I'm pleased to introduce Darius Boast, who is an assistant professor in the department. Darius? Yeah, do a little twirl, that's great. Perfect. Darius comes to San Francisco State from the University of Maryland College Park, where he received his PhD in American Studies. His research interests include African American literature and culture, gender and sexuality studies, queer studies, and trauma studies. This semester, he will be teaching gay love in literature and color queer, imagining communities. Welcome, Darius. Next up, also trying to change lives out there, is Carrie Jacobson from the School of Nursing, who is in the middle of teaching class right now. Carrie Jacobson, she's an assistant professor in the School of Nursing. She received her PhD most recently from the University of California, San Francisco, just a few months ago. Her research interests are in shared decision-making in healthcare, reproductive health in vulnerable populations, perinatal mood disorders, and quality and safety in perinatal care. This semester, she will be teaching ethics and nursing obstetric interventions. Please join me in welcoming Carrie. Next up, also within the School of Nursing, I think nursing's getting a run on these, is Dr. Elaine Musselman. Elaine? Elaine? There you go, right in the middle. There you go. Dr. Musselman is an assistant professor in the School of Nursing and also the associate director for the school. She has been a registered nurse since the 1970s, and she received her PhD in nursing from Rutgers University. Like many of our faculty here, Elaine is no stranger, having been a lecturer at San Francisco State for the past 2 years. Dr. Musselman's research interests include physical activity among adolescents and young adults, and health disparities in pediatric populations. Welcome, Elaine. And yes, another nurse. Stephanie Windle. Dr. Windle, if you could stand, please. Perfect. Stephanie? Stephanie is an assistant professor in the School of Nursing. She received her Doctor of Nursing Practice from the University of San Francisco. She previously taught nursing at Merritt College and has worked in many areas of nursing, including mental health, oncology, and HIV care. Her practice interests include in integrating medical and mental health care, stress management, and the use of hypnosis and guided imagery in nursing practice. Her research interests include development and evaluation of psychiatric clinical simulations. This fall, she will be teaching undergraduate psychiatric mental health nursing courses for her students. Welcome, Stephanie. And next up, Aiko Yoshino. Dr. Yoshino, please stand up. Dr. Aiko Yoshino is an assistant professor in the Department of Recreation, Parks, and Tourism. Dr. Yoshino earned her PhD at Indiana University. Prior to this, Dr. Yoshino served as the Operations and Program Director for the California branch of Outward Bound. As a teacher in outdoor classrooms, she has served as a wilderness expedition instructor in remote areas such as the Sierras, Alaska, Mexico, Taiwan, and the Himalayas. I think you're channeling our former dean, Don Taylor, here. However, she is no stranger to San Francisco State, having served here as a lecturer for a number of years as well. Her research centers on the social and psychological impacts of outdoor education and recreation. Aiko, welcome on board. Now, if you would join me in welcoming the other interim dean on this platform, Dr. Daniel Bernardi for the College of Liberal and Creative Arts. Daniel.
Thank you. I've got the pleasure of introducing 10 new faculty to the College of Liberal and Creative Arts, the College of Ideas, who were recruited by, yeah, that's our tagline now. We'll see if it sticks. Who were recruited by terrific faculty and hiring committees, chairs, and our former dean, Paul Sherwin. So first up, Professor Scott Boswell. Professor Boswell joins the cinema department, where he was actually a 3-year lecturer, showing you just how much talent and expertise and energy rests in our group of lecturers. He is a filmmaker, a fiction filmmaker, a terrific teacher. His first feature film, The Stranger in Us, is appearing around the world and is in several international film festivals. His new film, which I saw a short of, is absolutely stunning. Scott. Next is Jiyoung Cha, who's joining Becca, Broadcast and Electronic Communication Arts, an assistant professor. We stole her from George Mason. She got her PhD in mass communication from the University of Florida in Gainesville. Her expertise is media management and industry studies, and she's joining a terrific department. Next up is Professor Cheryl Dunier, also joining the cinema department. Cheryl. Cheryl received her MFA from Rutgers University. She is a world-renowned filmmaker. Her first film, Watermelon Woman, is perhaps one of the most significant lesbian and African-American films in the world. Her new film, Black is Blue, premiered at Frameline, along with Scott, Cheryl, and Johnny Simons, who Provost Rosser mentioned earlier, form a nexus of faculty already discussing ways to ensure that San Francisco State remains the premier institution for queer cinema in the world. Cheryl. Joining our amazing creative writing department is Andrew Jordan from UC Berkeley, where he got his degree. Andrew's published a range of books on a number of subjects, from Marxist philosophy to science fiction. He is a poet and thus a scholar. Welcome. Next is Martha Kenny, who's joining Women and Gender Studies. Where's Martha? She got her PhD in Women's Studies from Duke University. Right, and came from History of Consciousness there at UC Santa Cruz. That's, I guess, that way or that way, I don't know. She's joining a heck of a department, Women and Gender Studies, probably, in my view, one of the best run departments on campus. You are in good hands. Welcome. Next is Professor Jenny Lederer in joining the English department. She got her PhD in linguistics from UC Berkeley. She was also a lecturer, more evidence that we have some amazing lecturers on campus. She is a linguist. She's joining the linguistic program in English, which is really spectacular and only going to get better. Number 7, so we got 3 more to go, is Victoria Law. Where's Victoria? There she is. You might not know this, but San Francisco State University has one of the best museum studies programs in the world, and that's the program in the Department of Art that Victoria is joining. She got her PhD in pre-Columbian art history at UCLA. She is a curator, a scholar, and she happens to be born in the same city in Puerto Rico that I was born in, my guess around the same year. Welcome. Joining international relations is Scott Siegel. Where's Scott? Right there. Assistant professor, got his PhD at Cornell University, works on the political economy of noncompliance, joining international relations, also a stellar department, sure to help that department move even further up. Welcome. Next is Mark Stein joining history. Where's Mark? There he is. Coming to us as a full professor with tenure, got his PhD from the University of Pennsylvania. Another individual who's published numerous books, including Rethinking the Gay and Lesbian Movement. He's currently working on the Encyclopedia of Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender History of America. Welcome. Next is Young Chow. Where's Young? Joining foreign languages and literature as an assistant professor, got her PhD in Chinese linguistics and pedagogy. From the University of Hawaii. All right, we got a rhythm going here. And one of her interests is computer-assisted language learning and teaching. And I don't know if you know, but we have also one of the top Chinese language and literature programs in the world. Welcome, you're joining a great troupe. So now it's time for me to introduce to you one of the most generous intellectuals and leaders on our campus, been a big supporter of mine, and I know Alvin, the Dean of the College of Science and Engineering, Professor Sheldon Ackler.
Good afternoon. It's my honor to introduce 10 new truly outstanding faculty in the College of Science and Engineering. 9 of them are assistant professors. 1 is a full professor and an MPP. All of them come to us from distinguished institutions and with considerable experience beyond their PhD. To show you how outstanding they are, for each of them, I'm going to give you from their CVs that they submitted at the time of application, their paper count at that time, and I'm also going to read one sentence from each one of them's letters of recommendation that was written about them. So first, we have Sarah Barber, who will be an assistant professor in the psychology department. Sarah? Sarah's academic interests are memory, aging, and cognitive psychology. She received a BS in psychology with highest honors from the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, where she won an award from the psychology department for the best honors thesis. In 2010, Sarah received a PhD in psychology from Stony Brook University, where she won a graduate student teaching award. Sarah then had a postdoc at the University of Southern California. At the time of her application, she had already published 14 papers. Quote from one of her letters of recommendation, Sarah already has established herself as one of the leading researchers in the domain of social memory. Welcome, Sarah. Next is Mark Chan, assistant professor in biology. Mark's academic interests are cell biology and biophysics. He received a BA in chemistry from Harvard, and then in 2008, a PhD in chemistry from Stanford. He comes to us from a postdoc at UC San Francisco. He already has 13 publications, including 1 paper in the very prestigious journal Science, and 2 papers in the prestigious Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Quote from one of his letters of recommendation, I would easily rank Mark Chan at the top 1% of all postdoctoral fellows I've encountered here at UCSF or previously at Yale University. Welcome, Mark. Next is Xiaoshu Jiang from our School of Engineering. Is Xiaoshu here? He's teaching, okay. Xiaoshu will be an assistant professor in engineering. His academic interests are smart material and structures, real-time hybrid simulation, innovative engineering education, and, very important because of what happened last weekend, earthquake engineering. Xiaoshu has a BS in civil engineering from Guangzhou University in China. Then in 2012, he received a PhD in civil and environmental engineering from the University of Connecticut. While still a graduate student, an idea of his won second place in the 2010 National Security Innovation Competition. Xiaoshu comes to us from 2 years' work as a structural engineer at Skidmore, Owings & Merrill, which is one of the largest engineering construction companies in the world. He already has 17 publications. Quote from one of his letters of recommendation, "Dr. Jiang is the top student I have had." Next, we have Misty Kuhn, assistant professor in chemistry and biochemistry. Misty's academic interests include enzymology, protein chemistry, protein structure, and function. She received a BA in chemistry from Hanover College, then in 2009, a PhD in chemistry from Loyola University, Chicago. She then had a postdoc at Northwestern University School of Medicine. Misty already has 18 journal papers. Quote from one of her letters of recommendation, "She is a superb scientist, a great teacher and trainer of undergraduate students, a great ambassador of our lab and department, the best team player I will ever have, and a person that everybody liked." Welcome, Misty. Next is Chung-Kit Lai in mathematics. Chung-Kit, back there. Chung-King's academic interests include Fourier and harmonic analysis, fractal geometry, and frame theory. He received a BS in mathematics with first-class honors from Chinese University of Hong Kong. Then in 2012, Chung-Kit received a PhD in mathematics, also from Chinese University of Hong Kong. His doctoral dissertation won a prestigious silver prize at the 2012 International Congress of Chinese Mathematicians. While a graduate student, he also won the Best Teaching Assistant Award from his university. Chung-Kit then had a postdoc for 2 years at McMaster University before coming here. He already has 6 journal papers that are all in top journals. Quote from one of his letters of recommendation, "I wasn't prepared for what he was about to do after his PhD. What he's achieved in the last 2 years or so is nothing short of being sensational." Welcome, Chung-Kit. Next is Leora Nanis, assistant professor in our Geography and Environment department. Leora's academic interests include hydrology, water quality, and environmental science. She received a BS in Earth Sciences from UC Santa Cruz. In 2008, she received a PhD in geography from the University of Colorado at Boulder. She then served as a research hydrologist at the U.S. Geological Survey and then later at UC Santa Cruz. She already has 9 journal publications. She has received over $500,000 in external grants and contracts as the PI, and more than another $900,000 in grants and contracts as a co-PI. Quote from one of her letters of recommendation, "Leora is one of the most promising young scientists I have encountered in my 34 years of sponsoring research work for federal and state agencies." Welcome, Leora. Next, we have AKM Nuaz, who will be an assistant professor back there in our physics and astronomy department. He likes to be called just by his last name, Nuaz, and his application only included the initials AKM. So during his interview here, I asked him what those initials stood for, and he explained to me that it was too long and I would not be able to pronounce it anyway. Nuaz's academic interests are nanoscience and device physics. He has a BS in physics from the University of Dhaka in Bangladesh with first-class honors. For 4 consecutive years, Nuaz won the award at his university for the top student in physics. In 2006, he received a PhD in physics from Stony Brook University. He then has had postdocs at Washington University in St. Louis and at Vanderbilt University. He already has over 20 peer-reviewed publications. Quote from a letter of recommendation, Dr. Nuaz made major contributions to the proof of principle demonstration of the extraordinary electroconductance phenomena, which is the latest example of a new class of geometry-driven interfacial effects in metal semiconductor hybrid structures that may have a high impact on a variety of sensor technologies. Welcome, Nuaz. Next, we have Karina Nielsen. Karina, are you here? There we are. Karina is coming to us as the director of our Romberg-Tiburon Center, which is the only marine research center on the San Francisco Bay, which, as you know, about 7 million people live around that bay, so the study of what goes on there is vastly important. Karina will also be a professor in our biology department. Her academic interests are ocean sciences, coastal ecosystems and intertidal organisms, and conservation and environmental policy. Karina received a BS from Brooklyn College with summa cum laude honors, then a PhD in 1998 from Oregon State University. Then she was an assistant professor, associate professor, and full professor at our neighbor, Sonoma State University, in the biology department. Karina has had major grants from the National Science Foundation, NOAA, multiple grants from the California Ocean Trust, and California Sea Grant. In 2011, she was awarded by the Santa Rosa Chamber of Commerce the Excellence in Education Award. She has over 15 peer-reviewed publications, including 2 in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences and 1 in the very prestigious journal Nature. Karina is a member of the editorial board of the Journal of Phycology. How many people here know what phycology is? Not too many. Got a little bit of educational work to do there. It's the study of algae. A quote from one of her letters of recommendation, Karina is a multi-talented scientist with strong leadership abilities, excellent people skills, effective organizational abilities, and a real gift for translating complex science into lay language. Welcome, Karina. Next, we have Pluni Pennings. Pluni is joining us as an assistant professor of biology. Her academic interests are evolutionary biology, HIV, drug resistance, and bioinformatics. Pluni has an undergraduate degree in biology from the University of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. In 2007, she received a PhD in evolutionary biology with summa cum laude honors from the University of Munich in Germany. She then had postdoctoral appointments at Harvard University and Stanford University. She already has over 18 publications, including over 600 citations to her work, which is an extraordinary number for someone so early in her career. Pluni has made several prize-winning videos about evolution, including one last year that won first place at an evolution film festival. Who knew there was such a thing? But it sounds interesting. The title of her award-winning video is also pretty interesting. Why do slave ants kill slave makers? Quote from a letter of recommendation about Pluni. Pluni Pennings is already an established star in population genetics and evolutionary theory. Welcome, Pluni. Kevin Simonin. Where's Kevin? I think he was teaching also. Okay. Kevin is joining us an assistant professor in biology. His academic interests are plant-water relations, plant ecology, and stable isotopes. He has a BA in plant biology from the University of Montana. Then in 2009, he received a PhD in integrative biology from UC Berkeley. He had a postdoctoral position at UC Berkeley, and then most recently at the University of Sydney in Australia. He's published 9 peer-reviewed papers at the time of his application. Quote from his letter of recommendation. I feel that the specific work that Kevin did here was some of the more novel and high-impact plant physiology that has ever been done by one of my PhD students. And since its publication, it has had a real impact on the ways people both model and measure leaf hydraulic traits and how to analyze the data from such measurements. In short, this paper was a game changer. Welcome, Kevin. It's now my pleasure to introduce Jean Schelberg, our Associate Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment Management.
Good afternoon. Okay, you're still here. Excellent. Let's see if I can find my notes here. It is my honor on behalf of Student Affairs and Enrollment Management to introduce you to Seung-Hee Kwon, the newest member of the Counseling and Psychological Services Center faculty. Dr. Kwon earned her doctorate in counseling psychology from Indiana University and did her doctoral internship at the University of Southern California. She comes to us most recently from the University of Illinois, Chicago, where she served on the counseling staff there. And previous to Chicago, she was at the University of Tulsa. While trained as a generalist, she is particularly interested in working with underrepresented students and will be joining the efforts of our counselor faculty to create a new postdoc training program for counselor faculty, PhD in psychology, which will be our first postdoc training program here at San Francisco State in that area. Dr. Kwon.
Thank you. It is now my genuine pleasure to invite to the podium your colleague and mine, the President of the San Francisco State Chapter of the California Faculty Association, Sheila Tully.
Thank you, Trevor, President Wong, Provost Rosser, and all of the faculty and staff who contributed to organizing this event. Colleagues and friends, welcome back. As the president of the San Francisco State Chapter of the California Faculty Association, I also extend a warm welcome to our new colleagues who have joined us. You will find that the interests and talents of your SFSU colleagues are as diverse as the students sitting in your classroom. I am very proud to be a member of this talented, dedicated, and hardworking faculty. Give yourself a round of applause. There you go. This semester, we return to classes with some reasons to feel hopeful. State funding for the CSU is increasing, although not as much or as quickly as needed. The California Faculty Association will continue to advocate strongly in Sacramento for policies and state funding to ensure that students, present and future, have access to the affordable, quality, public higher education that they deserve. As faculty, however, we are also facing serious challenges. Across the nation, we have witnessed an unprecedented assault on public sector workers in general and public school educators in particular. In California, the logical consequences of systematic defunding of public education has resulted in larger class sizes, increased faculty workloads, and serious questions of access and equity to public higher education for many students. We also begin the fall semester without a contract. Throughout the year and during the summer, CFA's bargaining team has been in contract talks with the chancellor's negotiators. We have made substantial progress, but there are still several very important issues unresolved. Today I want to focus on two: salary and workload. The vast majority of faculty in the CSU has not had a significant salary increase in years. CFA has 4 areas of concern related to the issue of salary. The first and most obvious is salary stagnation. For about 7 years, we have had no significant cost of living increases, referred to as general salary increases or GSIs. We also face the lack of progression from the time of hire. Normally, faculty should be able to expect salary increases at regular and predictable intervals until the faculty member reaches a maximum salary within a classification, rank, or range. These are referred to as salary step increases or SSIs. They also have not been paid in 7 years. Some faculty face what we refer to as the quote-unquote experience penalty. This is when newer faculty earn more than senior faculty. This is a problem on all CSU campuses. Finally, there is the misclassification of highly qualified lecturers with terminal degrees being paid far below what they should be earning based on their education and experience. CFA's salary proposals are designed to address all of these longstanding problems. I know that I don't need to tell faculty that workload is another pressing issue. Faculty face increasing class size, demands that we advise more students, including supervising thesis work and independent studies, and these are only two examples. There are many more. In short, we are being asked to do more with less. These many increased demands on our time make it difficult, if not impossible, to do our jobs well. The result is stressed out faculty and students. We need to make progress on this issue at the bargaining table as well. In short, these are significant problems that affect the quality of education for our students and the quality of life for our faculty. The CFA bargaining team is working to ensure a fair contract, but they need your help. I encourage those of you who are not members to join CFA. Look for your colleagues and more information at the CFA table outside of the reception at Jack Adams Hall. I also invite you to attend the CFA membership meeting on Thursday, September 18th from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. in Library 121. Two members of the bargaining team, Lillian Tays, CFA President, and Jennifer Egan, Northern California CFA Vice President, will discuss the contract, bargaining, next steps, and answer questions. As faculty, we are leaders in our classrooms, in our disciplines, and in our communities. We have a vision of what quality public higher education should look like. With CFA, we are fighting for that vision, for our students, our colleagues, our families, our communities, and for the future of the state and nation. I urge all of those of you who are CFA members to step up and join us as we struggle for affordable quality education and a fair and equitable contract for faculty. In closing, I'd like to ask those CFA, SFSU e-board members who are in the House, Faculty Rights Committee members, and department reps, as well as CFA members, to stand. I want to thank you for all that you do and recognize you for your service to the faculty. Together we are CFA. I look forward to working with all of you as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. I have a few words to say to you. I shall attempt to be brief. I may not succeed. But do know that I'm cutting bits of my remarks as we go along so that we can all get to food at 3 o'clock in Jack Adams Hall, and please do come eat the food. Colleagues, friends, what I'm going to try to do today is to communicate to you an informative and significant statement about the year to come, information that is worth spending your time on at a time when you're also thinking about your students and your syllabi, and your lesson plans, and your tenure files, and your hiring committees, and if you're like me, those research projects that you were going to finish by the end of the summer, but that linger demanding your attention. As a university, and especially its faculty, we have many matters before us, so many that it's sometimes difficult to focus on the important creative, critical, and pedagogical work that is our passion and our vocation. All semester long, we oscillate between the minuscule everyday matters that the mechanisms of the university require to keep turning and our students require for their success, and the great questions of curriculum and philosophy that seem so abstract, but that nevertheless must guide our practical work at the university. To be successful, we must ground ourselves in the everyday while wondering at the intangible and the fantastic. And one of the roles of the Academic Senate is to find ways to help all faculty members and staff and members of the university navigate around the logistical and financial emergencies or seeming emergencies that threaten our ability to focus on those objectives. In 2002, I was introduced as a new faculty member, and I was very ignorant about what was going on, especially the strategic planning process of the time, which was called CUSP 2. But I've recently spent a lot of time looking over that plan and reflecting on the 7 goals outlined by the Strategic Planning Committee in 2002. Their commitment to the goal of access paired with excellence, supporting diversity in all of its forms, the process of educating our students for lives of principled, compassionate, and active citizenship, and the objective, so well stated, of modeling on campus the world in which we would like to live. Now, we don't live in 2002, it's 2014 now. We're undergoing a strategic planning process again. And while we honor the goals we made in earlier years and embrace the continuities in values that mark us as a community with shared history, we must also chart a new path for our future that embodies our hopes and aspirations. What shall be our objectives this time? What goals shall we pursue? With the best of our hearts, to the best of our abilities. What special values do we have to offer the world and this small place we occupy within it? Shall we seek to emulate the other universities in the Bay Area, or shall we strike out on our own pathway, preserving and pursuing a unique sense of who we are and how we contribute to our society? How can we recommit to fashioning of ourselves a community of faculty, staff, administrators, students, and alumni? A community with the courage and the resilience to pursue equity and intellectual inquiry in a society infected by the cult of individualism and personal wealth. How can we harness this sense of community, this courage and resilience, these values of equity and intellect, to the pursuit of learning, our own learning, because that is what we were doing throughout our careers, and also the learning of our students, because in the end, that learning, the learning of our students, the growth they experience in the classroom, in practical places, in the field, in the court, in business or community internships, through advising, tutoring, and mentorship, that is the way, that is our principal means by which we as faculty can effect change on our community and our society as a whole. And that learning is a sacred charge that the students and we hold together. So these are the issues, and this is the work that the Senate will be engaged in this year. As a deliberative body, we will debate and we will provide leadership to shape and implement the strategic plan that's being developed by the coordinating committee and the university community. We're going to begin, and I want to announce this to everybody, by updating our university vision and mission statements that express our core values. We will then take up substantive projects that will affect you, like linking the work we do to the economies of the university, lowering barriers to make it easier for faculty and staff to focus on our passions and our jobs, and creating new intellectual spaces and resources to build pedagogical and intellectual community. We're going to be working on creating mentoring programs for new faculty and lecturers, faculty, both tenure track and lecturers, crafting retreats and symposia related to teaching, developing a unified technology strategy, supporting curricular innovation, and looking at ways to assist in developing our advising, tutoring, and career services for students. We're going to do this by emailing you a lot. I'm sorry, and I will feel okay if you email me by the end of the year telling me to stop sending you emails, but hopefully you'll enjoy them. We're going to be consulting a lot, as we have in many ways in the past. And this consultation strategy extends to our partnership with university administrators. And I want to tell you about some of the successes that the Academic Senate, in conjunction with administrators, has crafted this summer already. First, some of you saw Margaret Lynch receive the very first teaching award for lecturers this year. The teaching award used to be a single award, and it was split into 2 versions. There's now a tenure track and a lecturer version. The Senate decided upon this split and helped to fund the award for the first year, but I'm pleased to share with you that President Wong has agreed to fund the lecturer award, Distinguished Teaching Award for lecturers, along with the other 3 Distinguished Faculty Awards this year. Thank you, President Wong. Second, you've met the new Associate Vice President for Human Resources, Ann Sherman. Associate Vice President Sherman and Vice President Cortez this year designated a staff member specifically tasked with supporting faculty retirees. I know for some people this is their first year, that's not important yet, but believe me, believe me, for some other folks in this audience, that's important. So thank you, VP Cortez. Third, Dean of Faculty Affairs, Sasha Bunge, and Dean of Undergraduate Education, Jennifer Summit, have joined with the Academic Senate to co-sponsor an upcoming January retreat on scholarly teaching, the scholarship of teaching and learning, and community engagement, our first retreat for several years on this matter. So thanks to both of you as well. Finally, as of just a few days ago, the Board of Directors of the University Corporation, led by Director Jason Porth and with faculty representation, have voted in our students' interests to establish a $200,000 endowed scholarship to subsidize classroom material costs for students in need. There are a lot of students that will help this year, so I'd like to thank the Board of Directors of UCorp. All of these accomplishments occurred because of partnerships that cross the boundaries of faculty, staff, students, and administration. We will need such boundaries more than ever in the coming year as we face obstacles in delivering on our mission. The fiscal environment for the CSUs in the state of California remains challenging, and we may have to make difficult choices and set clear priorities. We can only do this when faculty and staff have a voice in such conversations. And the main thing for both the Senate and the committees we sponsor to do that is for people to step up and serve. So the last thing I want to say to you is that I hope you will see the urgency of your participation in and leadership in shared governance. It's not enough for us to ponder the challenges we face as a university and a community. We must also take action to master them. I'm going to quote former President of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah. Action without thought is blind, but thought without action is empty. I wish you all a year that is thoughtful and active, and I invite you to call upon the Senate if we may help you achieve your goals and those that we cherish as a university. And I'd like to invite for our concluding remarks, President Les Wong.
I was thinking of signing into order a paper reduction act. The third year. Many of the new faculty don't know that, but I just finished my terrible twos. Mrs. Wong, the adventure continues, right? Thank you, Trevor. The university is well served by your decision to chair the Faculty Senate this academic year. You exemplify what I tell students often: get engaged, then watch positive change happen. And I want to personally thank you for stepping forward to lead the Faculty Senate and to be a partner in the direction of this great university. I want to welcome the large number of new faculty joining us for our coming adventure. New faculty, new staff and administrators, new students, and they are all drawn to a very special city and an incredibly special university. Let's remind ourselves often that our past is a rich one, steeped in intellectual excellence, social and passionate activism, community strength, and a focus on students first. Our future is no different. We should expect ourselves to take these strengths into new social, educational, and financial arenas with high expectations. Within our grasp is the opportunity to be something and to do something that is beyond cool. I used to think that trend-setting comes pretty close to a good word. But the concept that inspires me is the potential ability of our talented community to set the standard by which other universities will define their own identity. I see a pattern developing where students, faculty, staff, and administrators from other campuses, public and private, will see what we are doing and they say out loud, "Why isn't my school doing that?" And let me tell you, I've already heard that line at conferences and gatherings where, for example, our commitment to divest from fossil fuels remains a signal event for public and private universities. I've heard the line in our campus-wide and CSU system reaction to the incredibly effective response and adjustment when we had to close the science building last semester. I've heard the line as we've started to rebuild our commitment to student affairs and enrollment management. No pressure, Lola, okay? That's why we brought you here. And clearly to athletics. So Charles, I know that you are competitive as I am, and I'm glad you're a Gator. I heard that line, "Why isn't my school doing that?" when many heard not only of our commitment to hire more tenure track faculty 2 years ago, but also to honor lecturers this year and to be more deliberate about honoring great teaching at this great university. It's not going to be easy for us because our competitors probably have more money and arguably a better reputation. But sometimes, let's be truthful, our own issues could be our own energy to excel at a better speed. But for today and tomorrow, we must believe sincerely that we run alone, we run fast, and we continue to believe that we can be even better. That, for me, is not a challenge. It is my inspiration. The adventure that self-directed, collaborative, and managed change can bring cannot be fully realized without the talent that is now on campus. And if the size and quality of the search pools that have characterized faculty, staff, and administrative hires these past years are any indication, I recommend that we better issue seatbelts and helmets. And especially as you look at the introductions that you heard today, and as you experience the students and their families who are the purpose of our existence, I suspect that we should offer them helmets and seatbelts too. But we are a talented, passionate community, and we are indeed getting our swagger back. So let me touch on a couple of key points. As a good Chinese person, I have 8, okay? And I promise to be brief. Number 1, and this is not in order of importance. 2 years ago, when I first came here, I boldly stated that we would be making some game-changing faculty hires. I believe I used the number 100. And I have not forgotten that, and I wanted to tell you that publicly. And please don't let me forget, which I'm sure that you will not. I do have to tell you that our faculty, administrative, and staff hires tell me we are approaching our hiring practices as if each hire we make is a game changer. That wasn't what I meant then, and I don't intend to waver from my original vision when I offered up that idea. We are talking with donors and supporters, and we're going to get going on this fairly soon. I'll keep you posted. Number 2, the strategic plan. Sean Whalen has done a yeoman's job organizing and leading this effort with the Senate chairs. Thank you, Sean. Along with the Strategic Planning Coordinating Committee, a mountain of work has been accomplished. And when the draft is released soon, its sense of both reality and inspiration will be clear to all of us. We will need your input, and we need to support any and all deliberations about our future. Number 3, the first comprehensive campaign in the history of San Francisco State is about to launch. We have secured lead gifts, and I can't tell you about those right now. We have rebuilt and restructured the advancement team, and we are adding productive professionals to the staff. The foundation board and my leadership team have high expectations, and the number you should remember is 150 over 6. $150 million in 6 years. I expect to spend 40% of my time fully committed to this campaign. Number 4, and I think this might be the most important, personally. I am deeply committed this year to defending this university's commitment to academic freedom. We will not be coerced by outside groups into compromising this fundamental value of our lives. A crack in this commitment will weaken the entire history and structure of intellectual inquiry and idealism, the very fingerprint of this great university. It will take considerable courage on our part, but a respect for academic freedom is central to our students' ability to own their own mind. I don't know if you're a friend of Barsotti's cartoons in the New Yorker, but I plan on putting one up near my office. My favorite one is a sort of a sage with long hair, one-piece, ratted clothes, and he's holding 2 signs. And one says truth, the other one says victory. And I hope you'll join me in choosing the path towards truth. Number 5. We have taken up the charge to set the standard for implementing a prevention and education program to achieve the elimination of violence against women, LGBTQ individuals, and in fact, all members of our university community. We have spent this summer reorganizing, and there are now new administrative structures now in place that will meet, if not exceed, our federal obligation to the Violence Against Women Act. Dr. Lolo Hong is our point person who brings a nationally recognized reputation to this incredibly important task. She and I will be responsible for the successful implementation of training programs for all employees, all vendors, all parents, all students, and all guests to this campus. Number 6, the definition of San Francisco State campus is not easy to communicate to people. The Romberg-Tiburon Center has new dynamic leadership, Karina is here, where cutting-edge research and teaching occurs. The Downtown Center is offering graduate programs and other educational programs that maintain our presence in the downtown arena. The main campus is clearly defined, and it's evolving very, very quickly, and I'll get back to that in a moment. But let's not forget that we have our stamp in the online world too. We will also soon be more present in corporate America, and please do not forget the large number of students, staff, faculty who do internships, we volunteer, and we do research in Greater San Francisco. This helps me realize and understand that perhaps all of San Francisco is our classroom. I raise this only because we are entering into a very, very early stage talks with corporate America and other partners about a new sort of presence of San Francisco State in the city. You'll hear more about innovation hubs and innovation districts as the semester unfolds. But we're only at the idea phase now, and it has many folks talking about what could happen in San Francisco, and they want San Francisco State to not only be a part of it, but to lead it. Number 7, all right, the very old science building, and what we traditionally refer to as the home campus. Okay, my team and I are committed to a new science building. Okay. Yep, new construction. It's too early to say that we would demolish the current structure to make way for the new. And I have to tell you this past weekend that Mother Nature almost helped us out. A quick ad lib. When we were spending 90 minutes examining the campus yesterday, the biggest sigh from my team was when we walked up the hill and saw the building still standing. But we're in good shape. But we really do need a new building, and that will be one of my main foci this year. No rehabs, no retrofits, new. And if I can hand over to my successor the blueprint, a hard hat, and the financing plan, I will feel pretty good. It may come down to a new kind of public-private financing model, but my eyes are set on a 200,000 square foot building where our students and faculty and staff are teaching, learning, and doing science in facilities that testify to our leadership in science education in San Francisco. And don't forget, we are nearing the start of construction for the Recreation and Wellness Center, and we are on the eve of a commitment to begin the design phase of the mixed-use development effort that will transform Holloway Avenue between 19th and Lake Merced Boulevard. Our campus is changing. Number 8, and last, we made a commitment 2 years ago to do something about the gym. Along with generous gifts from donors, we were able this summer to install a new floor in the gym. I was told it was the first replacement floor since original construction in 1951. This summer, we remodeled the men and women's shower and locker rooms. Home and visiting teams will have real team locker rooms, and our coaches and staff will have real offices. We are doing our best to use our public and private dollars with the best and the most effective, towards the best and the most effective outcome. I am proud to say that our alums and donors have not been shy. We owe much to the generosity of, for example, alum Don Nasser, who is a key figure in refurbishing the athletic facilities. We expect to have a grand opening for everyone to view a vastly different arena within the coming days, not years, days. And remember, 1951. In closing, I hope you're wondering how I can stop glowing about the adventure that lies ahead. And I want to blame this glow on all of you, because without you, all of these challenges would drive me to Sunset Village pretty quickly. But seriously, last year, I did in fact put my foot in my mouth. I was disappointed in our control of the Gator image, and 2 consulting groups told me, control it or get rid of it. And so, I offhandedly told the Express that I was going to get rid of it. Whoa. Did that get San Francisco our alums and our students talking. Now, that might not be a bad thing from a president's perspective. But I found that my lackadaisical comment got this city, our alums, and this campus talking about the gator. Now, if the history books ever say anything about me, I hope they say clearly that he continues to try to minimize putting his foot in his mouth too often. But I do listen, and I ask myself, if we're going to do anything, how can we do it intelligently, strategically, and successfully? So the mascot was a good lesson for me to keep my feet away from my mouth and to try and use my brain more often. So today, I want to show you something that has a lot of people talking and a lot of people pretty excited. We are going to control our mascot. In fact, we're going to trademark it, we're going to market it, and we're going to use it intelligently and effectively in the future. And I've asked two of our varsity athletes, Jasmine Williams and Udun Usakue, are they here? All right, to help me roll this out. So if you'd come on out here. Welcome. Everybody here will be the first to see the gator, the official gator, and note, it is a gator. It is the official gator, and I'm proud to proclaim that the gator lives. It does not look like that Florida school gator. Ours is meaner, tougher. It looks much more cool. And again, this is the official gator. Thanks, you too. Thanks to everyone. This is going to be another incredible year. I want to wish you the best because we are the best. In fact, I think I'd like to say a lot this year that we are San Francisco's university. Thank you. Have a great year.